Now, let me tell you how we lose, even if we win, right? In America right now, we divided. Black versus white, Dem versus Republican, Muslim versus Jew, versus liberal. I mean, you can name any category, right? Men versus women. We're so divided. And so even if our team win, you know what I'm saying? Let's say the Democrats win or the Republicans win, right? We still lose because they keep us divided. And why I have this slide, we are allowing AI to kind of creep into the fabric of what makes a nation a nation, what makes a tribe, what makes a community, and that's the relationships, right? The actual community is built on the relationships that people have within the community. You know what I'm saying? Um, this page, Between Fear and Hope, likes to speak on things that are very important to the community, right? And that is relationship. Now, right now, OpenAI has estimated how many ChatGPT users show sign of mental health emergencies, right? That brings me back to the original snot. If we put ChatGPT's OpenAI research to the side because they are not a research company or they're not experts in the quote unquote research of social issues or epidemiology or anything like that, we can focus on some of the institutes like Harvard, which reports that 21% of Americans say they feel lonely, right? And another thing is that in 2024, 16 of the top 100 AI apps focused on companionship. Now, what happens when AI chatbots replace real human connections? There are some very concerning issues, and some places are picking up and trying to lead the frontier in that research. But these places don't have a lot of money, they don't have a lot of resources, and they don't have a lot of data, right? And this is the danger in placing so much power into the tech bros or the tech industry. Now, OpenAI came out and said hundreds of thousands of ChatGPT users may show signs of manic or psychotic crisis every week, right? But when you actually look at the data, it's way more. The number is way bigger, and we can't really trust them to give us the true numbers. Now, I read this article and it broke down how they tried to hide behind the percentages, and their main argument is that it's below 1%. But that may not be true because the concept is not really satisfied by the data. So this group here shown that it could be over millions because they have over 800 million users. They said up to, I think, 7% could be up to 0.17%, which is the percent that they reported on, could be depressed. But closer to 7% was showed signs of deep depression, anxiety, and even psychosis. Now, why does this matter? This matter because when we see what's going on in the world, especially like in places like Minneapolis and Philly, we see that communities are beginning to come back together. You know, there's a lot of people doing these think pieces on, oh, black people is tired. And we are. We're very tired. But this is a time where we need to be coming together because we're fighting on so many different fronts. And one of the most important fronts that we need to fight on is rebuilding our community as to not lose out this country to privatize to for-profit companies. Because when for-profit companies dictate not only our personalities and our actions, like we've already seen, where several people have lost their lives due to these chatbots basically not convincing, but egging on and agreeing with people that want to unalive themselves. This is going to become an epidemic, and not only themselves but their parents. It was a case where someone, unalived their parent, and he was in the computer science field. He had a master's in computer science and some AI technology, and he was still influenced by this because he had a mental illness. Now, as a community, if we allow the same companies who have all of our data, who have access to manipulative tactics within these tools that we are using, then and also a company that we can't trust to actually release the necessary data because they can consider it as proprietary, just like the way just like with when it comes to redlining, the banks don't have to release the information to show that they're redlining because it's proprietary information on how they determine where they put out their mortgages, right? AI companies would be able to do something similar where they'll say, oh, we can't give you the actual numbers and statistics, the raw data because it contains proprietary information on our users. We don't want to be in that situation, but unless we come together and start to fight for legislation for these companies to be held accountable, and fight against these data centers and RAM companies that want to push all their money into the private sector and allow these monopolies, then we're going to have a uphill battle and on every front that we're fighting. Now, I know this video was long, but I just want to remind you that we have to do our due diligence. AI propaganda and fake videos are not just videos that are created by AI. For example, it's a video of a guy who is telling you, oh, you have to be careful about these companies getting your data, and let me show you how to prevent your facial recognition from having your data. And the first step he tell you to do is to put your picture into this website and give them all your information. And I feel like that's AI propaganda, because these companies, you're only valuable to them with if they have your data, and that's their main goal, is to get your data. This is number one, so that they can make ICE more effective, and then for number two, so that they can make their business model more robust. The more that they can sell, the more that they can know about you and your patterns and your behaviors and your mood. If they start to know that you're depressed and you're having financial issues, and they can sell you, even if it's gonna make you flat out broke. So be diligent and do your research before you repost these videos and share these videos and interact with them. Be mindful and be supportive of your neighbors, and focus on a strong sense of community, and we can defeat these people, and we can, come back together and have a better America than we had for the past 200 years.